just your full name, how you like it pronounced, or how it should be.
Yeah, Ricardo Santiago-Carpio.
Full name is Gabriel Ben Samoy, but I go by Gabe Samoy.
Lovely. Okay, so we'll begin now.
Am I clapping again? Nice.
According to phototutorial.com, smartphones accounted for 94% of all photos taken last year. Photography is now more accessible than ever due to phone cameras. Do you feel that this is beneficial to the photography scene or damaging? Why so?
I think it's beneficial because it's pushing like photographers like creativity wise to like push past like what we've constantly seen a lot. I think like just like how iPhones are getting better, I just can't wait to see the time where like the person who's taking photos on an iPhone is getting paid the same amount as someone who has like the professional equipment. I know it's already happening right now as we speak, but I want to see more of that because like it just pushes like the idea of like what is like the professional equipment to have to like get paid thousands of dollars to like do like these shoots, you know?
I believe iPhone photography at the end of the day is what you make of it. Me, as somebody who also specializes in social media and content creation, I believe this is beneficial, especially with applications like Adobe Lightroom at our disposal. Anything we see that captivates our eye, just pull up. It's as quick as pulling out your phone, taking a photo, and taking it straight to Lightroom to give it that really cinematic vibe. And the way I see my life in a very cinematic lens. So if I'm in any area, or if anything, if I'm at any event or going through any experience that feels very cinematic to me, capturing the moment with photography is how I capture my life in a cinematic movie lens.
When you're taking photos for a big project, how does your process differ from when you are taking photos for fun?
When I'm taking photos like professionally, I want to say that I'm provided like the idea and like the mood and like mood boards, and then based off from what I'm seeing, I'm a very like my space around me has to fit that vibe of this project. So for example, for this one that took place last year, the vibe to me was very like tropical house music vibes. So like for like a month straight or so, I was just like living that lifestyle, just like listening to that. My whole space, my environment was that, so I can constantly think through the lens of that idea, that world. That's the way I approach like professional stuff, and also like my eyes are only grasping as well, like anything that fits that world as well. And when I'm listening to music too, whether it's headphones or my JBL speaker that I take almost everywhere, I'm just making sure like my mind is just that, and like it's almost like if I'm on a drug, like my mind just starts like creating all these crazy things, and I try my best to like either remember them as much as I can, or I'm starting to do this thing where like I write it down, whether it's on my notes app or like whatever. Like if I gotta say it, because I can't really explain it, like if I just gotta say it, it sounds really stupid, but I know what it means at the end of the day. Like on the notes app, I'll be saying whatever it is that I'm thinking or imagining. And then when it comes to like for fun stuff, it's like a lot of the fun stuff I'll be doing on my phone. Really, it's like some Lucas Sabat shit. Like for example, he's just, if you look him up on Instagram, it's LUKASABBAT. He's this like guy who's like all his whole Instagram feed is just like him out and about in the streets, and he just happens to have like a really good fit all the time, 24/7. And he's just like expressive, like where he is at that day, what maybe like the culture is in that place he's at, time of day. And that's kind of like my vibe too, where like if it's summer and I'm like somewhere like at the beach, I want to capture like what the beach vibe is, the music I'm listening to at the moment, But just like not too. I don't think about it too hard. It's kind of like how it comes, and especially if you're able to get something really cool without too much thought, I think that's really beautiful. I think that just goes to show like some things are just meant to like happen naturally, you know. But when it comes to like when you're getting paid, like I mean that shit has to like come out either one way or another, you know, like. But yeah, I think that's the best answer I can provide like as of right now that I'm being asked about.
So when I think of professional photography, with my experience, I look a lot of the technical aspect, but I also view professional photography in the political and journalism scene, which is a world I haven't tapped into much on besides my photography class. But when I'm tapping in with professional photography, with my experience, the margin of error is very thin. There is a lot of technical backbone behind it, from lighting to the right ISO, the right aperture, shutter speed settings. I look at it in either a class of journalism or professional setting, but professional photography, outside of commercial work, taking headshots, I also view it as photography that in a journalism setting that tells a story news-wise, that has a political agenda behind it, that is used to push political agendas, that is used to push worldwide agendas. That's always been my view in the professional photography scene. And on the other hand, with personal photography and the quote-unquote for fun stuff, that's where I've really allowed myself to express creative freedom. This is where, as a lot of you may know, this is where a lot of the abstract artwork can really come about, can really, personal photography is where I can really unleash my flow state. I also view it in a way of telling stories or pushing agendas, but more so through fashion photography, through different mediums like fashion photography, filmmaking photography, like production stills, taking BTS photos, just thinking freely, getting into a flow state, thinking whatever I want, and really experimenting and playing around with personal photography or photography, taking photos for fun. I can really play around. I feel the margin of error is it's a lot less thin compared to a professional photography standpoint. If I'm not like hired for it, if I don't have clients under my belt, and if I'm using photography for my personal use or for passion projects, I can really experiment and express myself in more unconventional ways outside of what you're taught in photography classes. So less by the books photography, if you will.
ImageRetouchingLab.com mentions AI editing as a key driver for new market trends. As artificial intelligence continues to grow, how do you feel it will impact photography? Will it make people more attached to photographers, or do you worry the intrigue for AI content will be too much?
Honestly, like on my TikTok feed, I'll be getting a lot of like these cool images that just AI was able to provide after all these like very detailed like almost like coding of like what it is you want the image to come out as. And yo, like it's like if like the thought of 6 hours that goes into like maybe or like more, you know, like but just like hours and days of like energy and like research, like there's actual research that goes into this shit. And like and AI is just able to do that, like from like writing maybe like 20 sentences, like detailed sentences of like how it is you want the image to come out as, and like it just like saves you like a whole bunch of time, just like crazy, you know. Like I think like if your view is like if you're ready, like you know what you're doing, and like you just want to pump, like if you're like your main goal is to like just make as much money at the moment, I think AI can like help you pump out and like get the money going. But if you're very much like almost kind of like Christopher Nolan, where like he likes sticking to like the old ways, old traditions, which is right. Honestly, like I think either way is like correct. It's just like one is kind of like a little bit like, I mean, both of them have their pros and cons, you know. But like, if you're very like, oh, I want to stick to like the way like this craft was like invented and how it should be, very like to its core and like its history, then like if you want to go ahead and like spend, you know, that good chunk of time and like planning everything out, doing your research and like what you was saying, like getting the books and like doing all this research for it, like by all means, like go ahead, you know, like but the thing is like, I mean, at the end of the day, like yeah, we like you do this for like love and passion and all, but like sometimes like especially like in LA, bro, I feel like you just gotta if you gotta like just survive and like make money, you know. I just feel like the AI way is good, but like when like if the money's really good or like I don't know, you just got time, or like maybe you're just like so like I gotta make this one thing and it has to be done this certain way, and you just got the time for it, like by all means, like of course, like take the long route. But if you're just trying to pump out stuff, and it's a tool, you know, as of now, like it's a free tool, like you can still pay the same amount, I think, as like how it is when you get hired to do normal photography. But it's just like it happens a lot faster. You save yourself some time, and like you can get started on a whole bunch of shit just because like you know what it is, you know how it should look like at the end, and you're saving yourself all these countless amounts of time and like I don't know, like headaches or whatever. That's just like the way I see both sides, you know, and I'm for both sides. Like I love both sides because I mean like I just love tech and like just the constant advancement of like technology and what it can do for us if we look at the right side of it, just like social media. Honestly, if you like take advantage of that and like you take everything it has for you and like you just really use it to the best, like dude, like I don't see why it could like mentally like do you wrong. I feel like you do you a lot of right, but of course you gotta have like the right mindset for it. It's like you go on it for the right reasons and you leave and you go back to go on with your day, you know, like go hang out with your friends in real life, have an actual real connection with people. Like just take advantage of everything that there is out there to like for the right reasons. And I don't see why you should do any wrong, you know? Those are my 2 cents.
In the creative workspace, it's very interesting question, but it's a very split argument. I understand where people are coming from when they believe AI makes the workflow more efficient, cuts the amount of time you work at it like times 10. But me personally, in the context of arts and creation, I am anti-AI use. I think the reliance and the dependence of AI can get scary in the near future. Reliance is the key to my argument. I'm very pro using the human brain to self-express yourself as a form of self-expression. I'm very pro using the brain to create things and express yourself through photography and editing. I just think there's something special about going through those 6 hours of learning, like either self-teaching yourself or learning through professors how to work through editing techniques in a hands-on environment compared to relying on tools that are powered through, like for example, Adobe softwares, like compared to relying on those tools. I think there's been some reliance and dependence on AI that has grown in the creative workforce. If you scroll on Instagram and TikTok, it's very scary how many works of art, quote unquote, are powered by AI, whether that is 50% AI or 100% AI. And I think it takes away the beauty of self-expression in an art context. And at the end of the day, I think I would take the work that feels earned rather than the work that was powered by a robot. And that's just my personal take on it. I think AI is a tool, like Ricardo said. AI is, at the end of the day, a tool in all workforces. I think I understand where people can use it in an academic space or in an employment space, maybe spaces where people. I can understand why people use AI for things they don't care too much about, but as someone who cares deeply about self-expression in my own work, in my own art, I hold strong value for using 100% my human brain to express myself creatively.
Grazia UK says that 71% of people Photoshop their online pictures. Do you feel that Photoshop is a helpful tool for your work, or do you try and avoid using it?
I think Photoshop is great if you're using it to like clean up like small minor things, but you're still keeping like what you actually did capture. Like if you're like overweight and you're trying to make yourself look like you have a six pack and slim and shit, that's when I think it's wrong. Cause like why not just I just think that's wrong. I just think that's wrong, and cause Photoshop, I mean, it's just mainly to like fix up the photos and maybe change up like the colors and tones. Okay, but like generally, I just think it's like fine using all these things to like just bring more life to like the image, but like not completely changing like what it is that the thing was, unless it's like a product. Like if you're taking a photo of a product and like you definitely want that to look like sellable or whatever, like I mean, like yeah, by all means, like you know, like do what you gotta do to like get that product to like move and just like generate what it is that the goal is. But like when it comes to like a person or a thing, you know, like if you're taking away like the what it's meant to be, then like and you're changing to like this whole different thing, that's when I think it's like kind of wrong. But also if you're pushing, like if it's like if you're pushing in a positive way, like if it really is like if it's me, you take a photo of me like right now, and it's just to like make me look like emo or like kind of getting this like vibe out of me without like just, I can see why like you're just pushing like the boundary, but like I just don't want for like whatever it is that was meant to be captured like in that time and place. I don't want that to be a complete different thing, unless that was the whole point of like doing the project in the first place. But yeah, I think Photoshop is like a great tool. I think I like it.
I agree that Photoshop is a very innovative tool, but I think this argument is split amongst two niches and two industries. If we're using Photoshop to defy or alter beauty standards and create illusions that aren't there in a beauty context, I personally think it's wrong. But if we're using it to showcase technical abilities, if we're talking from the photo editor, if we're talking from the photo editors and photographers' portfolio, Photoshop is always a great. It always makes a great use to showcase the techniques and skills that you picked up through both experience and through an academic setting. But I think there is still a world where Photoshop can be used in the very wrong way. As Ricardo mentioned, for someone who's overweight, if Photoshop is being used to create this illusion that's not there for a fashion shoot or for a retail shoot, if we're not talking like strictly the art of photography and photo editing, I believe there's no use for Photoshop. I believe whatever is captured is what stays. I think if you want to just make enhancements, just go use Adobe Lightroom. But Photoshop is used to innovate and experiment and also showcase different styles, different editing techniques that no one's ever thought of. And I think it's still a good practice in the context of photo editing classes and photography classes. It's a great use for someone's portfolio at the end of the day. I also think that it could be used for personal projects, experimentation and innovation is always where I really believe it can be put to use. But yeah, like I said, if we're talking defying and altering beauty standards, that's where I think we should rewire to just using Adobe Lightroom and not changing what was originally captured in a photograph, and just staying true, and for the model that was photographed to just stay true to their true form.
Finally, are you able to easily detect pictures that are edited, or is it becoming more and more tricky to do so? Does edited content decrease your appreciation of photography as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, I can tell right away when like a photo was enhanced to look better color-wise, or makes it stand out more. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I think almost anyone could like really tell if a photo was edited. Even though, like, for example, like iPhone cameras are just really good and automatically like certain colors get enhanced, or like certain shadows either increase or decrease, like all these different things that happen because like just iPhone cameras are just really good. I mean, you can still tell like when the photo was like enhanced to like look even better. I appreciate when like I see a nice photo. I mean, photos are only going to get better and better, like all these applications too. I mean, you're going to make the photos look even better and better. I mean, I'm pretty sure one day we're going to reach a time where like the phones and like certain photos, like there's a feature on Instagram where like when you slide and you pop in a photo, the photo almost feels like it's kind of like a 3D dimensional, and like you tilt the phone a little bit, and it's almost like it's sticking out of the screen, like how it is like even on billboards. Like I think even in the UK, there's like Nike does this cool thing where like the Air Max shoe is flying on actual these bouncy pillow things, and like it looks like it's coming out of the screen, and like the bouncy balls are like flying out of the screen like it's gonna kill you or something. But like, dude, I mean, like I can see that happening like on the phone, and like I don't think we're far away from that. And no, I love seeing enhanced photos. But like I said, like with the right intention behind it, like I don't care if it's like it's already like this demonic photo shoot for like Playboy Cardi, and like on Photoshop it was meant to like make him look even more demonic and more evil. Like I love that. Like if it's like for the right reason, I think that's a right reason. Like that's like a right creative reason. But if it's to like make him look fat, like on purpose for this photo shoot, like it's like Paper Magazine and it's like Playboy Cardi. Next album is I Am the World, and he's like fat like the world, like like some shit like that. Like I'm just like nah, man, like nah. Like when it's done with like the right intentions, you know it's done with the right intentions. Like even if it's like a meme is a meme, right? Like that's something to laugh at. But like if you know it's like something serious and it's behind this like very well established whatever magazine, clothing brand, whatever, you know, like I just. If it's done with the right intentions, you just know and you feel it, you know, whether it's like something demonic or something very beautiful, you know, like whatever.
I agree that it is very dependent on the intention and the niche. The meme world, the most outrageous edits are very prominent. But you know, for the love of the art of photography and photo editing, regardless of the niche, if we're not talking altering, you know, someone's, you know, true form in a way. Both fundamentally and advanced wise, I have nothing but strong appreciation for a really good edit. I don't think I don't think that like I disrespect any photo that is obviously edited. And when we're talking recognizing photo editing, I think it always depends on the amount of reps you get in when it comes to observing photo editing as well as doing the edits yourself. I think you get better at observing the edits through time. You notice very little things. When you start to really look pixel by pixel, I believe over time, throughout the months and years, you start to recognize things that you wouldn't recognize when you first started, of course. So it all depends on how much work you put in. That's the only time will tell how good you are at observing a good photo edit. But again, with the use of AI, I understand it could be a lot trickier to make observations. But I think a true photo editor at heart can truly read a good practical photo edit. So I have nothing but appreciation for it. I think photo editing, Photoshop use is an art in its own. No matter what use, whether in the meme world or in the fashion world or in the album cover world, photo editing is a use of self-expression. So it all depends on the intention, as Ricardo said. All depends on the industry, the niche, and I think there is a lot of positives and there's a lot of good intention behind a very outrageous photo edit. But at the end of the day, photo editing and photography is an art and is a form of self-expression, and that self-expression can be enhanced by the technical backbone that you develop from the amount of work and reps you've put in since day one.
That's all I have time for. Thank you boys very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.